Hello and welcome to another Tutorials for Dumbasses. Seems I am still the dumbass because my screen recorder keeps on bombing out. So today, just a quick one. I'm going to show you how to do funky styles like this for doing Photoshop edits. Again, my model is Luna, my daughter, who is lying behind me and is refusing to sleep. Would prefer to watch me do this instead of sleeping. Anyway, this is one of the combinations of using the filter gallery that you can use. It's actually the first time that I used the mosaic filter in cahoots with another filter, and that's how you usually use the filter gallery to get really cool looks out of it. The filter gallery has been around for way before filters were such an integral part of social media. And I've been using the filter gallery for quite a few things in the last few years when it comes to doing artwork and things like that. Again, if you're on Illustrator and you know how to use Illustrator, you will probably know how to do these things easy on Illustrator, but the filter gallery is a really cool way to get cool looks out of something in Photoshop. Okay, let's begin. So you start off with your default image. So this is just a normal image of the little one. Zooming into a face so we can work with that. So what you would do is press Ctrl J or right click and duplicate. And then you work with that layer. So the first look that I used, you go to filter, filter gallery, and then it brings up this whole cornucopia of filters. I'll run through them very quickly with you. You have artistic, which is a lot of it's a lot of painty artistic sort of things that you could use. So I use a few of these when I do my edits. Next up is brush strokes, which is more focused on the strokes of imitating if it was a painted image. Distort I don't use so much. This kind of a filter is very popular for people who want to hide blemishes and things like that. So if you spot this really hard glowy sort of a thing, you know that the person is trying to hide a bad photo, and they are just really trying to hide blemishes or a bad photo, because you really don't need this much glow when you are doing edits. Next is sketch, which imitates sketched things, which I use a few of them in my edits as well. Stylize, the glowing edges I don't use that much, but for certain things they can be very nice for doing some really cool effects. But yeah, maybe if you have like a earthy sort of a music video that you maybe like, that sort of a look that you want to go for. Next, texture I also don't use that much, but then as I was trying to do this in the previous, when the screen recorder bombed out, I actually found that the stained glass is actually a really cool filter to use. So those are the basic filters that you can use. The other important thing to start off with, in your colors over here, your foreground and your background colors, make sure that your foreground color is black to start off with and your background color is white. I say that because when you go into filter gallery again and you choose something that uses black and white as the base, if there are any other colors other than black and white, it will look very funny. It will look very funny because this will be the foreground color and this will be the background color. So black and white is a nice place to start off with. So that look that I did, that you saw when we opened this up, was stained glass, and then I tweaked the settings quite a bit, but I also used cutout as well. So what cutout does is you can play around with the levels. When I use this effect, I like to make the edges quite simple. So I hike the edge simplicity, not all the way down there, but let's check what's the basic that you can do. You see, that's too basic, although that does actually look very nice, very minimalist. If you were to just add some levels to that, then you could, something like this is very nice to work with. I think if you were to switch on the stained glass, then you would get something very cool. So the power of the filter gallery comes when you start combining looks, when you start combining filters, then things start to get really fun. So this is our first look. Let's maybe make those cells a little bit smaller. So it is all about playing around with your parameters that you are presented with here. So that is the first look. Let's call that stained glossary. It's funny because it's a play on words on glossary. And then, so that was this one. The first one we had was actually nicer than this one. But there you can see there are many ways that you can combine things, and that is just one combination of two of them. So what I usually do is I keep all of my different layers that I have, or that I've created, and then I try to combine them, or I just pick one. So what I did there now, if you press Z on the keyboard, it brings out the zoom options over here. So if you click fit screen, then it will fit the entire image onto the screen. If you say full screen, then it will fill the screen with detail. If you say actual pixels, then it will go to the actual size of your canvas. So let's duplicate the little madam again. We go to filter gallery. Let's play around with some more things. So just zoom this back down. Let's go a little artistic. Let's take something like poster edges. Now, poster edges is really cool with black and white stuff. Like if I had to switch this half pattern on now, maybe if I switch them around, you see you start to get a very cartoony sort of a look. So poster edges usually with one of the brush strokes. No man, poster edges with one of the brush strokes. Okay, it's taking a bit long to, ooh, look at that, dark and brooding. So there, that dark strokes on its own is already looking like a horror film. But let's maybe take angled strokes, play around with it a bit. Let's see what changes. It's taking this long to apply the changes because this image is quite big and my laptop is quite slow. I think I might make it smaller in the next. Maybe just crop it. We dim it a little. We don't want it as sharp. Sorry for the horrendous vacuum cleaner sound outside. I can't really complain because I also vacuumed earlier. So we've got angled strokes with poster edges. Now, usually if you switch your filters around, it will change the look of the thing you are looking at, of your image. So let's just wait for this to update. Let's play around with the thickness, intensity, rasterization. So you can see every element changes something on the image. And you can really get some cool effects if you start mixing it around. Like that looks like an album cover already. If you were to add another one, maybe not cutout, because cutout is going to look weird. Yeah, I see what I mean. Stamp will make it black and white. What I would usually do is that actually doesn't look half bad. What I would usually do is I will mix black and white elements with color elements and overlay them over each other. So I'm going to save this, the poster edges and the angle strokes, as a layer, and I'm going to duplicate it again, and I'm going to do a black and white layer on top of this and see what it's going to look like. So I just want to see what this is going to look like with a stamp, if I have to edit the stamp a little. Just wait for our canvas to load. The joys of having a slow ass laptop. So let's maybe chuck up that a little. Ooh, that does look quite interesting. And chuck up the smoothness a little. You see, that looks quite cool already. So let me just see what this is going to look like with halftone as well. So I'm using all of my favorites that I usually enjoy using to see what it will turn out like once we just add on. Ooh, that doesn't look half bad. I'm going to see what halftone and stamp looks like alone after this, but let's. Okay, that doesn't look too cool. I wonder if I move the halftone underneath the stamp, what it will look like. Although that does look quite cool. Let's just see what this looks like, and then we'll switch it back if it. Okay, if it looks crap, we'll say okay with that. Then you get your very cool looking layer, which looks quite trippy if you zoom out. Okay, before I continue anymore, let's put it onto the screen. Let's just crop this to just that, so that we can stop getting a slow response. Image, crop. See how big we are now. We're at 2000 pixels. I'll just make it 1500. So that should not lag so bad anymore, and it's still big enough to do some good work with. So this is what happens once you have 2 or 3 layers that are cool. You can start overlaying them over each other, and you can already see you start to get really cool effects just from doing that. So we're just cycling through all of the effects over here. Okay, so one of them look quite cool. Let's just go over them. I think it was one of the darkened ones. That one looked nice. So you must always remember that you can, if it looks too brash but there's something going on, then you can always just bring the opacity down. Then you already start to get something nice. So if you were to apply maybe an empty layer with just color, so we say new layer, we maybe pick, let's just change this for now. Pick green, let's change it back to black so that we don't forget, and then you use multiply, or you fill with this color. Then you can already see that you're starting to get some very interesting things over here. So we're just faffing about right now, nothing concrete yet, but you can already see that things are looking interesting. So yeah, you can even take a brush. I pressed B for brush now. Go into the settings, make the brush a lot bigger, make the hardness to 0% so that you get a nice soft brush. Then you maybe take a dash of pink, fuchsia pink. Maybe that's a bit too much. Just create another layer. Just create, okay, maybe make it a bit smaller. The brush a bit smaller. Maybe make it just diagonally, something like that. And then you, what is this? This is on color. You can really just play it. Ooh, Maybe just play around with stuff and see what you get. So you can really just play around with so many stuff and just see what you end up with. If you're not willing to play around, you are in the wrong business. So that's also a cool little look we could go with. Just put this in a group color. So let's just do 2 more and then we'll call it a day. I'm sure you get the gist of what to do when you are using this. So let's just recap. We've got our mosaic, the lunar mosaic. This one was better. Oh, this one is really nice. The lunar mosaic, it looks like that Lauren Hill cover. You've got the halftone layer, which actually looks quite cool on as a background of the original. If you were to put the mosaic under it, it would look very weird, but interesting nevertheless. Let's just call this mosaic. Let's call this halftone. This is our drawn over one, and then we will make just a black and white one using the black and white filters. So we'll go to, let's kill all of these, excuse me, we'll go to stamp, and we'll get the light dark balance. Ooh, that looks nice. So if you obviously, to get a drawn look like this, it is just much better to use your pen tool and just draw it like in the previous tutorial that I did. But for a quick and dirty drawn look, I mean, that's quite cool. For the quick sticks, I mean, that also looks very nice, and that's just with the stamp applied. I think I'm going to make this a layer on its own, but let's just look what the other things will add to it. Stamp on stamp. We just have a look what poster edges would add to it. Not good. Not good. Not good. So poster edges is a no from me. Nope. Maybe just try one more. Let's try that. Where's that glowy that I said the girls would like to use when they're trying to hide their blemishes? Put it on top. Yee, that's looking different. We just move this glow around. It's looking very nice. I might use this tutorial myself when I'm trying to remember what I used to make things look nice. That's actually not too bad at all. So if I had to bring that all the way up, it would not look good. So let's look at the difference. Oh, that looks quite nice. I think I'm going to keep it that way. That almost looks like a dreamy watercolor look. We press OK, and it gives us that layer. Oops. We press V to bring up your move and selection. And then filter, not filter. Cycle through your looks. Let's maybe pick the halftone and the drawn over. Halftone and drawn over. And then we see what we get when we cycle over the ooh, that doesn't look too bad. Saturation. I actually like this one just on its own. Just like that. That already looks very nice. Chuck the color on top of it. That looks interesting, but no. Got actual pixels, that's not too bad. Maybe just one more just to also show you what's possible. And I think my iPad is running out of space. Just do one more and then we call it a day. So what should we pick? What should we pick? Glowing edges. Patchwork does look nice. Patchwork looks very interesting. Actually, the patchwork with the stamp actually looks very interesting. I'm discovering things here myself as well, because I've never really liked the patchwork and the mosaic, but I'm using it today. And patchwork with the... ooh, that's a bit too much. Patchwork with the stamp actually looks quite cool. It's something very interesting happening here. That, all the way, if you bring that relief all the way down, that is very cool. Just move the stamps things around. Ooh, that looks interesting. Hey, that looks very cool. Go back to the patchwork. Bring that to a 3. Looks very cool. I never thought to use the patchwork for an effect like this. Hide the stamp away. Aww, cute fluffy. Just try the ankle strokes. Maybe make this a... torn edges is boring, quanti crayon is... oh, that actually doesn't look too bad. Graphic pen. Oh, that looks cool. Charcoal's a bit too light. Diffuse glow, oh, that's also cool. So I'm literally just playing around until I see something that I like. Then I'll run with it. Or I might just cancel everything. Palette knife plus stamp. Let's put the palette knife on top of the stamp. And now put the stamp on. Stamp's not doing it for me. Nope. That looks like the Godfather. That's funny. It looks very evil actually. Switch off the patchwork. Oh, that's hectic. Well, if you were to go for something dark and brooding, why not do this? So, half done? No. Undo, can I undo that? Yes I can. You put the half done pattern here. Hey, there's the Godfather, look. Oh, it looks disgusting. Okay. Let's just do maybe one old favorite that I like to do. Cutout. Cutout and the patchwork might actually look quite cool. Check it, if I have to do cutout and patchwork, it will probably look cool. Probably look very artsy. Ooh, that's weird. Why does it do that? Ooh, that's very weird. Yeah, there the patchwork would be right, but that's actually quite trippy that it does that. Ooh, it's actually flippin' awesome. Wow. As I said, I'm discovering quite cool things here myself. That is amazing. Just chuck the stamp on there. Wow! Wow! That's not half bad. I'm gonna do this with a picture of myself. Can you say next profile picture? Geez, that's quite cool. Get the squiggles going again. Glowing edges! Ah, she's taking it too far. This is cutout and patchwork. Let's see what happens if I bring that around. Play with that. Oh, that is freaking awesome. Zoom out a little. Wow. I never thought that you could do something like that. So that's just really trippy. If I were to mix it with a halftone, halftone is a bit too much. If I were to mix it with just the bottom layer, you need to mix it with something else that's drawn on, then it will look cool. Yeah, then it will look cool if you mix it with something else that's drawn on. Maybe not the mosaic, maybe the drawn over one. Let's see what we get. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make it normal, and then I'm gonna take the black and white one, put it on top of it, and see what we get. Normal, opacity, multiply. Okay, it's not too bad. Just gives it a little bit of gives it a little bit of outline. So I like that. That's a cool end to our tutorial. So as you can see, the filter gallery is endless and boundless. I will save every layer of this at the end and show you what it looks like without being played on an iPad, and then you can try it for yourself and see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this tutorials for dumbasses. If you liked what you saw and you have suggestions for something else that I can do, remember I don't only do design tutorials, I do food tutorials, I do tech tutorials, I want to do a few DIY tutorials, so there's everything that's possible in this tutorial world. I'm just enjoying sharing my knowledge with everyone out there. You never know, maybe you can teach me something as well, like getting a freaking proper screen recorder. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Please subscribe and like this video, and till we meet again.